Hi, I'm Bonnie Barker with BonnieBabeCrochet.com, and I want to welcome you to my tutorial for the LYDIA'S cabled scarf. Okay, this is a crocheted project, and for this project you're going to need 1 hank of LYDIA yarn. I highly recommend this. Let me show you some of the stats on this. It's 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. It's a sock weight. There is 400 yards, and this is enough to make 1 scarf. Okay, we're going to also need a size G or 6 crochet hook, and I'm going to also recommend that you have a yarn needle on hand and a pair of scissors to cut the strand when we're finished. Okay, let's begin. We're going to work our slip knot so that we can work our starting chain, and go ahead and chain 32 chains. After those 32 chains, we're going to work double crochet starting in the 4th chain from the hook. So double crochet in each chain. I'm just going to work along the side of the chain, one of the V's. If you prefer to work in the back bump, feel free to do that. I prefer to work on just one side of the chain. So go ahead and finish those double crochets all the way across. When you finish, you should have 29 double crochets plus the turning chain. So this is what you should have after finishing row number 1. To begin row number 2, we're going to turn, chain 2, and we're going to work front post double crochets. We're going to work 4 of them, 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. Now notice I am not going to use this first stitch. I'm going to start with the 2nd stitch, and if you've never done a post stitch before, you don't work in through the top loops. Instead of doing that, we're going to give this stitch a belt. The hook goes around the stitch like so, and then you just complete the double crochet the way you normally would. So we're going to do that 4 times. Whoops, just need 1 wrap for a double crochet. Okay, so after we've done those 4 front post double crochets, we're going to work a 4-post cable. Now in order to do this, we're going to wrap the hook twice to prepare for a front post treble crochet. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches, and then we're going to front post treble in the next stitch by wrapping our hook around, like giving it a belt, pull up a loop, and then you just complete the stitch the way you normally would. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and do that again, but in the next stitch. Okay, just like that. Now we're going to be working in front of these 2 stitches, and we're going to front post treble crochet in the 2 stitches that we skipped, starting in the one that we skipped first, and then in the next one. Just like that. Now we're going to work 4 more front post double crochets. We're going to work 1 in each of the next 4 stitches. I know my thumb is in the way of a lot of work, so I'm going to show you where we are at this point. So we've worked 4 front post double crochets, worked 1 4-post cable, and then worked 4 more front post double crochets. Now we're going to work another 4-post cable. We're going to skip the next 2 stitches. I've wrapped my hook twice for a treble crochet. Work front post treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. That will be 1 and 2. Now we're going to work in front of these 2 stitches, and we're going to front post treble in the 2 skipped stitches right here. Okay, now we're going to repeat that again. We're going to just do 4 front post double crochets. Now do try not to get these confused. When we're doing these post stitches like this, we're working double crochets on the ones that are just front post double crochets, but when we work these 4-post cables with the front side facing, we are going to be working front post trebles. Okay, and then we have 1 more treble, skip the next 2 stitches, front post treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. Now working in front of these 2 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the next 2 stitches. And we're going to end by working front post double crochets in the next 4 stitches. And at the end, we're going to work a half double crochet working in that turning chain. Just stick the hook just right into that whole chain there. You don't have to pick a single loop or anything. And then work a half double crochet. Now we're going to chain 2, turn. Now this is going to be the easy row. We're going to work back post double crochets all the way across this row. And the double back post double crochet, we just come in the back door, comes around and out the back side door, pick up a loop, and then we just complete our double crochets. So go ahead and work those stitches all the way across. Well, here, let me show you. As we work the 4-post cable, we just do them in the order that they come. Okay, we're not crossing anything on this at this time, but do make sure when you get to those 4-post cables that you are working over 4 stitches and that we don't drop anything or skip any stitches. At the end of row number 3, we're going to end by working a half double crochet into that entire turning chain, just like that. Now we're ready to work row number 4, which is going to be the same as row number 2 where we cross the cables, but I'll go ahead and start this for you. I'm going to chain 2, and we're going to front post double crochet in the first 4 stitches. After we finish that, we're going to do the treble crochets. We're going to do the 4-post cable, skip the first 2 stitches, front post treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. Working in front of those 2 stitches, we're going to front post treble and the 2 skipped stitches. And that is going to be our repeat across this row. Okay, again, 4 front post double crochets, 1 in each of the next 4. And then we're going to do another 4-post cable, skip these 2 stitches, front post treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. Working in front of these last 2 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 2 skipped stitches. It's having a hard time getting that. There we go. All right, and then we're going to do that 2 more, well actually 1 more time. We're going to do 4 front post double crochets and then another 4-post cable, and then we're going to end with 4 front post double crochet. So go ahead and finish that across the row. At the end of row 4, we end like we did the last row with a half double crochet worked right into that turning chain. I'm going to chain 2 and turn. Now the 5th row is going to be the same as the 3rd row. We're going to work a back post double crochet into each stitch across, coming to it from the back side. Okay, so go ahead and work that, and then we're going to also end this row with a half double crochet worked in the turning chain. Okay, now that we've finished the first 5 rows, I just wanted to show you how this is coming together. Okay, now the next 2 rows, rows 6 and 7, are going to be just like the last 2 rows, rows 4 and 5. We're going to start with a chain 2, and then we're going to front post double crochet in the first 4 stitches. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches. This is for the 4-post cable. Skip 2 stitches. We're going to wrap our hook for treble crochets, front post treble, and the next 2 stitches. Working in front of the last 2 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 2 stitches that were skipped. And then we're going to repeat that across the row. Front post double crochet in the next 4 stitches. And make sure that we're working front post double crochets there. And then for the crossing of the cable of the 4-post cable, we're going to skip 2, and then we're going to front post treble in the next 2 stitches. Working in front of the last 2 stitches, go ahead and front post treble in the 2 stitches that we just skipped. Then we're going to work that. So go ahead and do that one more time, the 4 front post double crochets, and then the 4-post cable using treble, front post treble crochets, and then 4 front post double crochets, and the row with a half double crochet in the turning chain. For row number 7, we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to back post double crochet in each stitch across the row. At the end of this row, we're going to end with a half double crochet worked in the turning chain. Okay, now we're ready to work row 8. This is the row that begins the wattle stitch. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the first stitch, and starting in the first of the post stitches, we're going to work through the top loops. This time we're going to work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Now I'm going to vary how I skip the stitches in order to get this to work out evenly across the ribbing here. We're going to just skip 1 stitch, and then we're going to work a wattle stitch in the next stitch, which is a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and in the next stitch we're going to work that wattle stitch, which is a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. We're going to do this one more time. Skip 2 stitches, and then we're going to work single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Now we're going to do something a little different, but before we do, make sure you have 4 wattle stitches. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, or clusters, whatever you'd like to call them. And now we're going to skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to front post treble in the next 2 stitches. We're actually forming the foundation of a wheat stitch. Now to do the wheat stitch, we've been crossing in front, but we're actually going to cross behind these 2 stitches, and the way we do that is we come in the back door through this big hole, and we're going to skip this first stitch entirely. This first, or actually it's the second post of the 4 group cluster here, but just the last 2 stitches here we're going to work front post treble crochets. Okay, now this might be kind of tricky. I'll go ahead and do this a little more slowly. We've double wrapped our hook. We're going to come in the back door, and this is the stitch we're going to do the front post on, front post treble. So what I like to do is put my thumb there and bring it up through the hole here, and that does make it a little bit easier to work that stitch. And then we're going to work the one right next to it, which is right here. My tall man and my thumbkin, as we used to say, are very instrumental in helping me to find these stitches. Okay, now we're going to skip the next 2 stitches and front post treble in the next 2. If this is the first time that you've ever worked this stitch or seen it worked, I do have a tutorial that is free on my YouTube, my Bonnie Bay Crochet YouTube channel, and you can watch just this stitch alone if should you need more stitch support. Okay, now working in front of these 2 stitches, we're going to front post treble in the 2 stitches that we just skipped. So what's happening is the cable is turning outward, kind of like a wheat stalk. So as we go up, the cable, one side is going to go to the right and the other is going to go towards the left, all the way up the scarf. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to return to the wattle stitches. We're going to single crochet in the very next stitch, chain 1, and then double crochet we're just going to skip one stitch here, and then we're going to work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet. Now we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and we're going to work single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, which is that wattle stitch. Okay, now we're going to just skip 1 stitch, skip 1 here, single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. That brings us to the end of the row where we will skip the last 2 stitches, and we're going to work a half double crochet in that turning chain, just like this. And so this is what you should have at the end of row 8. For row 9, we're going to turn, we're going to chain 2, and now I believe it becomes a lot easier because we're not having to worry about distributing these other stitches evenly over a different number. Okay, we're going to only be working in the chain 1 space of each wattle stitch. Okay, we're not going to be working in the half double crochet or the double crochet. We're just going to work in that chain 1 space. As we go across for the wattle stitch, we're going to work a single crochet, chain 1, and a double crochet in that space, and go to the next chain 1 space. We work a single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Once your muscle memory in your hands kick in to using this combination of stitches together, you'll find that this goes really quickly. It may take several rows until that happens, but I think you'll enjoy this stitch, and it makes a lovely, lovely fabric as something that's a little unusual, little different in a way of crocheted in more traditional fabrics. Okay, so I'm going to be working, or I have just worked 1, 2, 3, 4 wattle stitches. You should have 4 wattle stitches on each side of the cable throughout this pattern. Now the next 8 stitches are simply going to be back post double crochets, just worked straight across this cable. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we have 4 more wattle stitches to work on this side. 1. Remember, we're just finding that chain 1 space. And actually the hole, when you're working this, the hole feels a lot bigger than it really looks in this video. Again, the nerve endings in your non-dominant hand are great for guiding your hook and showing you exactly where to crochet. Okay, now this is going to be the trickiest chain 2 space here. The chain 2 space, which was at the end, we're going to work our half double crochet in there. All right, and now we're going to work the next row. And the next 2 rows that I'm going to show you are actually an exact, well, they're pretty much the same as what I've already done, but I'm going to just do 2 more rows. And these are the 2 rows that you're going to repeat over and over again until you get the length of the scarf that you desire, or until you run out of yarn, either way. All right, so I've chained 2, and I'm just going to work those wattle stitches, which is single crochet, chain 1, double crochet, worked only in that chain 1 space. You have 4 of them on each side. I know I'm repeating myself. I do that a lot, but as a teacher, it's important to repeat things because we need to hear things a lot before we really get it. All right, now we're at the cable, and this is what we're going to do each time. We're going to skip the first 2 posts, front post treble in the next 2, working behind the last 2 stitches, we're going to front post treble in those 2 stitches that we just skipped. Okay, now skip the next 2 stitches, and we're going to front post treble in the next 2 stitches. Working in front of those last 2 stitches, we're going to front post treble crochet in those 2 stitches that we just skipped. And let's pause and take a look at this cable and see what we have so far. After completing that cable, we're back to working those 4 waddle stitches: single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Again, worked only in the chain 1 space. Now we're going to work a half double crochet in the chain 2, and the chain 2 space is a lot easier to find once you get past the first row or so of this. Okay, now we're going to do the next row, chain 2, and it's just like 2 rows ago. We're going to work a waddle stitch in each of those first 4 waddle stitches of the previous row. Then once we get to the cable, we just work 4 back post double crochets all the way across. Okay, so there we have 8 back post double crochets total. And do make sure that you have 8 of these, because otherwise it's going to be really hard to do the cable in the row that follows. And then we end the row with 4 more waddle stitches worked in the chain 1 space. Single crochet, chain 1, double crochet. And half double crochet in that turning chain. So let's go ahead and pause and see what we have. As you can see, the pattern is already established. Okay, so now what you need to do is repeat the last 2 rows that I just showed you about 58 more times. Okay, when you're counting these, you can count the crossing of the cables, where the cables cross here, and you should have approximately 60 of these crossing, which amounts to about 120 rows from this point on. It's a lot easier, just instead of counting row by row, it's a lot easier just to count how many cable crossings you have, and that's why I'm giving you this information this way. Okay, so go ahead and do that until you have approximately 60 of those. Okay, after coming to the place where you have 60 cable crosses, or I guess crossing of the cable on those wheat stitches, go ahead and chain 2 and do 1 more row, because you want to end with the back side facing. Okay, actually with the front side facing, but we're going to work the row with the back side facing last before we transition to the next thing that we're going to do, which is going to be to rework the cabled ribbing across the bottom of this scarf. So go ahead and finish that 1 last row. Now we're ready to begin the section that goes back to working the ribbing, which looks like this. And we're going to work this at the bottom of the scarf. Now the numbers are slightly irregular, so please try to be careful and follow along. We're going to chain 1. We're going to single crochet in that first chain 1 space. And then we're going to single crochet in the next single crochet. Notice that I did not work in that double crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to work 2 single crochets. And then we're going to work 1 single crochet in the next single crochet. Now we're going to work 1 single crochet in that next chain 1 space, and then single crochet in the single crochet. Now we're going to work 2 again, and then we're in that chain 1 space, and then 1 in that next single crochet. Now we're going to work in the tops of the cable. Go ahead and work 1 single crochet in each stitch. There should be 8 of them as you go across. We are actually going to have a stitch count of 28 when we get to the end of this row. Okay, now in the next chain 1 space, we're going to work 2 single crochets and then 1 in that single crochet, 1 in the chain 1 space, and then 1 in the next single crochet, 2 in the next chain 1 space, and then 1 in the single crochet, and then we're going to work 1 in that next single crochet, actually the chain 1 space, and then 1 in that space there, and then go ahead and we're going to work a single crochet in that chain 2 turning space. The next row, which is actually row 2 of the ribbing finishing for the bottom of the scarf, we're going to chain 2 and we're going to double crochet in each stitch across. I'm actually skipping the first stitch, and I'm going to work a double crochet in each stitch across. At the end of the row, after you've worked those 28 double crochets, go ahead and work an additional one in that turning chain. This will help give more of an evenness appearance of what we're about to do here with the end. Alright, so now we're going to chain 2, and this is where we're going to duplicate what we worked at the very beginning. And actually you just go ahead and work those same rows starting with row number 2. We're going to work front post double crochet in, and also notice that I did skip the first stitch here, and we're going to front post double crochet in the next 4 stitches. After that, we're going to skip the next 2 stitches. We're going to front post treble crochet in the next 2. This is forming that 4-post cable. And then we're going to work in front of those last 2 stitches, and we're going to front post treble in the 2 skipped stitches. And then we're going to repeat that across. Front post double crochet in the next 4 stitches, and skip the next 2 stitches, and we're going to front post treble in the next 2 stitches. Then working in front of those last 2 stitches, front post treble in the 2 skipped stitches. And we're going to repeat that again. Front post double crochet in the next 4 stitches. And we're going to do another 4-post cable, skip the next 2 stitches, front post treble crochet in the next 2 stitches. Then working in front of the last 2 stitches, front post treble crochet in the 2 skipped stitches. And now we're going to front post double crochet in the last 4 stitches. We're going to end this by working a half double crochet in that turning chain. So this is what you should have at the end of this row. Now we're going to chain 2, turn, and this is the next, actually the row 3, actually row 4 I guess I could say, of the finishing off of the scarf if we're counting this single crochet row as the first. So that's 1, 2, and this will be the 3rd row. We're going to work 4 back post double crochet. Notice I am skipping that first stitch again. Actually we're going to work back post double crochets all the way across the row, just like we did at the beginning. Make sure when you work this that you get all 4 of those cables for the 4-post cable. Go ahead and work these across. At the end of the row, we're going to end with a half double crochet worked into that turning chain. Now let's go ahead and turn. Now we're going to repeat those last 2 rows 2 more times. Now that we've completed the cabled ribbing at the end of the scarf, I want to show you an optional way you can finish. Now, if you want to just leave this the way it is, that's fine. But I kind of like to add a little extra thing to the end. Okay, and this is how we're going to do this. Is working the eyelet finish. We're going to skip the first stitch, and we're starting in the first of the post stitches, working through the top loops. We're going to single crochet, chain 3, and then work a double crochet in that same space. It's similar to the wattle stitch, but yet different. Now we're going to skip the next 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then we're going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and a double crochet in the next stitch. Skip the next 2 stitches, single crochet, chain 3, and then double crochet. And let's try one more. Skip the next 2 stitches, single crochet, chain 3, and double crochet. Skip the next 2, and then I'm going to pause here to show you how this looks. It's a nice little edge. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this across the row. After working this across the row, you can skip the next 2. You can work the last single crochet in that last single crochet, just like that. And then after we do that, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little chain and give it a good tug. Now I'm going to clip the strand and pull it on through. Okay, so this is the edging that we have at the bottom of that scarf. Now to work the same thing across the bottom of the scarf at the beginning, this is where we started. Go ahead and join with a slip stitch, and I just went ahead and used both stitches around there to make my chain, just so that it gives it a little more strength. And then I'm just going to work a single crochet, chain 3, and then work a double crochet in that same place. Skip the next 2. Now I am working in the remainder of the foundation chain, so it may be a little bit tighter working in here, but just find where the stitches were attached and just go in. If you can see the hole that was formed when we worked in the chain the very beginning, I'm just going to go into that same hole, and there will be 2 strands left if you did it the way I did it. We're going to do a single crochet, chain 3, and then a double crochet, and I'm going to do this all the way across. Skip 2, go into the next space, single crochet, chain 3, and double crochet. Go ahead and work that all the way across the other side of the scarf. You can end the row by working that single crochet either in the next double crochet there, or you can work it in the end stitch, whichever you think is going to look better and more even. I'm actually going to work it in that last stitch because I just think it will have a better presentation. So that means you're going to be skipping 3 stitches at the end, but that should be no problem. Go ahead and give it a chain, give it a tug, and go ahead and clip that strand. Now we are almost done, but there's one important thing left, and that is to hide these loose strands. Okay, I'm actually going to combine these 2 strands together. Let's see if I can do this. I like to save time on this where and when I can. You don't have to do this. You can hide them both individually, but since they are right here together, I'm going to join these together, and I'm actually going to try to run it underneath this foundational double crochet row. Let's see how this works. You see how I'm working them, also working with the back side facing. Now if this is too much, I can always pull it right back out and try again, but I think this is going to be fine. If you find that your stitches are too tight, I think that is actually going to work quite well. You don't see it at all from the front side. I'm going to go ahead and give these strands a clip. Make sure you're very careful to not cut your crochet. That would be very sad. And here is another strand I need to hide. And the nice thing about this scarf is once you hide this strand and one other, I believe we are going to be done with this. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run it underneath the double crochets on the other side. Okay, there you go. Give it a tug. That is well hidden, and there's just one more strand. That's one thing I've really enjoyed, if I may boast a little bit, in this yarn that was created by Angela Klein, called Lydia yarn, is I didn't run into any knots or anything in this. This was just purely a pleasurable experience for me. I hope that that was the case with your crocheting this project, if you were able to get a hold of some of the wool cashmere nylon mix that comes in a kit at first. Now, if you're just getting this pattern, by itself, that's fine. The Lydia yarn is available online, but of course there are many other wonderful types of yarn on the market that would also be quite suitable for this pattern. Now I'm going to bring this up a bit since I'm working it in this way. Okay, and that looks good. It's not showing from the front side. I'm going to give it a little clip. And I am actually done with this pattern. I really like the way the added lace kind of helps to temper the end of that. Okay, well, I am absolutely done with this, and I hope you enjoyed this project. Should you be looking for any other, I have many free videos on my Bonnie Bay Crochet YouTube channel. Please check that out, and if you could please do me the kindness of subscribing, then you will not miss any of my videos that are coming. Also, stay tuned to my Ravelry channel, where I may be offering more exclusive patterns that have video tutorials. Now, just like this one, this will not be on my free channel, but will be held for exclusive offers for friends like you. Anyway, God bless. Bye-bye.